This video will cover the National Latin Exam for Latin 2 for the year 2006, questions 1 through 20. This first question, non poteramus, is testing your knowledge of the tenses of the irregular verb possum. Remember, possum is just like sum, except it has a POT in front of it. Except where sum begins with an S, then it's a POS. And so I'm just going to look at this ending, eramus. Eramus is the imperfect form of sum, so poteramus will be the imperfect form of possum. So we were not able. Be careful, because this ending is the same for the past perfect. The difference is you'll use the third principal part of possum as your stem, which would be potu, P-O-T-U, not just P-O-T. So when you have that P-O-T-U, you use that for the perfect, the past perfect, and the future perfect. Number 2, you have ob plus a passive verb. When you have ob plus a passive verb, that's translated as by all the time, because it's an ablative of agent. It is the person who is doing the singing. Number 3, you have an infinitive and a head verb, dixit. So now you're looking for this makes this an indirect statement, and you're looking for the subject of an indirect statement. The subject of the indirect statement is always in the accusative case. This question is testing your knowledge of the suffix que. The suffix que is added to the end of a word to mean and, so bread and wine. So this question is asking if you know how to translate this verb correctly. This verb is perfect passive, and so it was broken or has been broken, and this is nominative, and this would be genitive, so the statute of the orator has been broken. So question 6. So I have an O and a U, because this is a fourth conjugation, and these are both ablative. And so it's talking about a consulship. And so a consulship was also used to determine time, the years by who was consul. And so this would be an ablative of time, and so that would be translated in, so in his fifth consulship. 7. This is a relative pronoun problem. So first we look at the antecedent, amicus meus. And so that means that this relative pronoun has to be masculine singular. And then we look at all our answers, and they are all masculine and singular. So here's a little tip. So they rarely have I've never seen an answer that wasn't either nominative or accusative. And so I'm going to eliminate the ablative and the dative, just because I've never seen that ever happen. So you're looking between a nominative answer and an accusative. And so you look what's in the sentence. Look here, I have an accusative, so I'm not going to have two accusatives. I'm not going to have two accusatives. So I'm going to have a nominative here, so it would be qui. 8. So the IOR is comparative adjective, so that will be comparative, tastier. Ducturus, the is the future active participle, so that makes it future, about to lead. And then postquam is just like post, it means after. So number 11, this is an infinitive. This is a head verb, so this would make this an indirect statement. This is the perfect active infinitive. So a perfect infinitive in an indirect statement translates before the main verb. And so since this main verb is perfect, this will translate before that, which is past perfect. And anytime you have a past perfect, you translate it as had seen. Eis, this could either be dative or ablative, and so I look at the main verb. Dabitne, this is a verb of giving, so it's a verb of giving, showing, or telling, so this is most likely dative to them. Mihi placet, this is an impersonal verb, and remember, placet means pleasing, like to placate, and so the closest to that is I like. Quat, like a quotient, is how many. Puneri, this is the present passive infinitive, and so it's to be punished. So 16. This is an ablative absolute. You have a participle and a noun agreeing in the ablative. So literally this says, with the king having been dead. And so the closest thing that resembles that meaning is because the king was dead. 17. You have a superlative, because a verb ending or an adjective ending in er doubling the R, and so this would be superlative. And when you have quam plus a superlative, that's as eager as possible, or eagerly as possible. So it's as blank as possible, quam plus a superlative. This is Roman numerals. L is 50, and then X would be 10, so 50 plus 10 is 60, and then I comes before the V, so I'm going to subtract that 1 from the 5, and so that's 64. If a friend asks you, quid agas hode, that means, how are you today? I am absent doesn't make sense. I do not have my book doesn't make sense. The sun shines doesn't make sense. It would be, I am happy. Laetus is happy. And the Carthaginian general who led his troops across the Alps, that would be Hannibal. Pyrrhus was a Greek general that attacked Italy. Jugurtha was from North Africa as well, but never invaded Italy. And Mithridates was in the eastern Mediterranean.